When my father passed away, I stood silently for hours beside his empty hospital bed. But what haunted me wasn't the moment he closed his eyes. It was the question echoing in my mind: where is his soul now? Have you ever wondered what really happens to the soul after death? Do we simply vanish into nothingness? Or is that moment the beginning of a brand new journey, one that only the soul truly understands? Could there be a place where your loved ones, those who've passed months or even years ago, are still watching over you, still loving you, still waiting? Today, we'll journey together through the first 12 months of a soul's experience after death, guided by the profound insights of Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet. This isn't fiction. It's not guesswork. It's a stunning and hopeful picture pieced together from near-death experiences, deep meditation, spirit communications, and serious studies from around the world. And who knows? By the end of this story, you may no longer fear death, but see it as something beautiful, something real, and something worth preparing for starting today. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's explore the greatest journey your soul will ever take. Have you ever seen someone take their final breath? It's quiet. Sometimes it's just a soft exhale, but something happens in that silence, something bigger than what our eyes can see. According to thousands of near-death experiences, the very first few seconds after death aren't filled with darkness. They're filled with light. A surprising number of people who've come close to death describe a sudden release, a lightness that's almost euphoric. One man who had a cardiac arrest during surgery said, "It felt like taking off a heavy winter coat I didn't even realize I was wearing." It's not pain, it's not fear, it's freedom. In those first moments, the soul begins to separate from the body, not violently, but gently. There's often a feeling of floating, sometimes hovering near the ceiling of the room, watching everything from above. Many have described seeing doctors trying to resuscitate them, or watching loved ones cry, yet feeling an odd calmness, as if part of them knows it's okay. Take the case of Mary, a nurse from Oregon. She shared that when her father passed away, she felt an overwhelming warmth in the room, almost as if the air had shifted. Later, she would find out that at the exact moment he died, his best friend, living 300 miles away, had suddenly burst into tears without knowing why. Coincidence? Or the first ripple of a soul beginning its journey? Science can't fully explain this, but across different cultures, stories, and studies, something keeps showing up again and again. That death isn't an abrupt end, but rather a gentle opening, a doorway into a new kind of awareness. And here's the lesson we can hold on to. The way we live and the way we let go both shape the first moments of what comes next. Those 60 seconds aren't random. They are a mirror reflecting how prepared we are to return home. So, what happens next? Once the soul starts to realize it's no longer bound by the body, it enters a space between worlds, a kind of twilight zone, neither here nor fully there. If you could see the soul leave the body, what would it look like? Ancient texts, mystics, and spiritual traditions from all around the world describe something remarkable: a shimmering thread of light stretching between the physical body and the soul. They call it the silver cord. Just like an unborn baby is connected to its mother through the umbilical cord, this energetic cord is believed to tether the soul to the physical body throughout our lifetime. It's invisible to the eye, but felt by the soul. And when this cord finally breaks, that's when death becomes complete. In the book of Ecclesiastes, there's a poetic line: "Before the silver cord is loosed, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." This imagery appears not just in religious scripture, but in thousands of near-death accounts. People often report hovering above their bodies while still feeling tugged back, like a thread pulling them downward. They feel connected, not quite free, until suddenly, snap, a sensation of release. The pull is gone. That's the breaking of the silver cord. Let me tell you about Daniel, a firefighter who collapsed from heat stroke during a rescue mission. He was clinically dead for 4 minutes. Later, he shared that while he floated above his body, he still felt drawn back, like a magnetic field pulling at his chest. He said it was as if something was keeping him tethered, unwilling to let go. But when he finally felt that invisible thread let go, he was immediately flooded with light, sound, and peace. It was like going from grayscale into full color, he said. So what does this cord really represent? It's more than just a mystical idea. It's a symbol of transition, a bridge between the material and the spiritual. And here's a small truth we can hold on to. The easier we let go of our attachment to physical identity, the more peaceful this transition becomes. People who spend their lives cultivating presence, gratitude, and love often report a smoother release, a cleaner break. Meanwhile, those who cling to control, possessions, or unresolved guilt often feel that tension linger, even as the body shuts down. The silver cord isn't just what holds us here. It reflects what we're still holding on to. But once that cord is gone, there's no going back. And so, the soul begins to experience the world not through eyes and ears, but through pure consciousness. Not every soul moves on peacefully after the silver cord breaks. Some souls linger. They stay near the homes they once lived in. They sit quietly beside grieving loved ones. Or they remain in the very spot where they took their last breath. Why does this happen? The answer often lies in attachment. When the soul isn't ready to let go of earthly life because of love, regret, fear, or unfinished business, it remains close, even though the body has already stopped functioning. Some spirits stay behind out of deep concern for loved ones, like a mother leaving behind her young children. Others don't even realize they've passed, especially in sudden deaths like accidents, strokes, or suicides. Some hold tightly to possessions, status, or unresolved pain. Have you ever walked into an old house and suddenly felt a chill for no reason? Maybe, just maybe, there's a soul still not ready to leave. Take the story of George, a retired mechanic in Arizona. After his wife passed, he lived alone in their old home for 12 more years. Every night he left the bedside lamp on. He still talked to her photograph as if she'd never left. One night, after a mild stroke landed him in the hospital, a nurse reported hearing the old piano in his room softly playing around 2 a.m., even though no one in the family played music. Later, George quietly admitted, "I know she's still here. I feel her warmth when I wake up. But maybe I've been holding her back all this time." We love so deeply. We sometimes forget how to let go. Here's a small but powerful lesson. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Letting go means giving each other permission to walk our separate paths, still connected, always, by love. Some spirits just need more time, some need a guide, and some only need a quiet blessing from someone they loved, whispering, "It's okay to go. I'll be all right." So what helps a soul finally cross that threshold and move fully into the spirit world? When we're alive, many of us imagine that after death, there's a kind of courtroom where someone tallies up our mistakes, weighs our sins, and hands down a verdict. But what souls actually experience after death tells a different story. There is no judge. There is no jury. There's no punishment waiting on the other side. Instead, there is something far more powerful. A process of deep reflection and emotional understanding known as the life review. But this isn't just watching your life on a screen. You feel every moment, not just from your own point of view, but from the hearts of everyone you ever touched. You feel what it was like to be the person you ignored, the one you inspired, the stranger you helped, and even the friend you unknowingly hurt. Imagine this. You once snapped at a child because you were having a bad day. In your life review, you won't just remember it. You'll feel what that child felt. The sting, the confusion, the fear. But you'll also feel the warmth in someone's chest when you hug them at just the right moment. Or the quiet peace you gave someone by simply listening when they needed it most. That's what makes the life review so transformational. It's not about guilt, it's about empathy. Michael, a businessman who passed away at 58 from a sudden stroke, later communicated through deep meditation. He shared that during his life review, he relived the pain he caused a secretary with a thoughtless comment, something he'd forgotten long ago. But he also felt the quiet joy of a family he once helped financially, a gesture so small even he had forgotten it. It's not just a rewind, it's a revelation. And maybe the gentlest truth we can take from this experience is, every word we speak, every action we take, even the ones we barely notice, leaves an imprint on someone's heart. And one day, we'll return to those moments, not to be judged, but to truly understand the impact we've made on the world. But the soul never journeys alone. So who's waiting for us on the other side? And why do some faces, people we've just met, feel so instantly familiar? Have you ever wondered, where do we go after we die? Is it a golden heaven with pearly gates, angels singing softly in the background? Or is it something more mysterious, more personal, beyond anything we've imagined? The answer, it turns out, might be both strange and deeply familiar. Because according to thousands of accounts from near-death experiences, deep meditation, and spiritual regressions, the spirit world isn't a fixed place. It's not a location you travel to, like an address in the clouds. It's a reality shaped from within the soul itself. In other words, you don't go to the spirit world. You create your experience of it. In this realm, thought becomes reality. Think of a garden where you once felt completely at peace, and in an instant, it appears around you. Think of a loved one who passed before you, and suddenly, you're with them again. Not speaking, but communicating through energy, emotion, and thought. Elena, a woman who fell into a deep coma after a car accident, described it this way. I entered a place that didn't have colors like we know them. It was light, alive and moving, like music you could see. Every thought I had took form, shapes, colors, even sound. There's no time, no space, only intention and the vibration you carry within. That's why the spirit world doesn't look the same for everyone. Those who cross over with peace, love, and acceptance often find themselves surrounded by gentle light, wide open spaces, and a sense of coming home. Those who carry fear, anger, or shame may find themselves in darker, more closed-off spaces, not as punishment, but because they're still holding themselves back from the light. The spirit world doesn't judge us. It mirrors us. And that may be the most loving truth of all. It's not death that creates heaven or hell. It's the energy we bring with us. But in a realm filled with countless wandering souls, is there anyone who walks with us? Someone who once promised to find us again, no matter the lifetime, no matter the form, even after the soul has left the body, even after the life review, even after stepping into the light. Peace isn't always immediate, because some wounds go much deeper, not wounds of the body, but wounds of the heart and spirit. Wounds carried from years of fear, shame, guilt, or the things left unsaid. That's why, after reflection, comes a sacred time, the healing phase. It's not therapy the way we know it here on Earth. It's more like vibrational restoration, a place where heavy energies like anger, regret, or self-blame are slowly softened, lifted, and transformed. Some souls are gently guided to what many describe as healing chambers, places filled with warm light, soft frequencies, and unconditional love. Here, the soul finally breathes again, deeply and freely, after a long and sometimes painful incarnation. Take the story of Thomas, a young man who passed from addiction. During a deep meditation session, his soul communicated that at first, he didn't want to leave the darkness. He felt unworthy of love. He believed he didn't deserve healing. But gradually, through light, presence, and the kindness of loving spirit guides, he felt something he never allowed himself to believe while alive. He was forgivable. He was lovable. Bit by bit, the shame began to melt, not because someone else forgave him, but because he forgave himself. And perhaps the most beautiful form of healing isn't being forgiven by others, but when the soul finally learns to forgive itself. There is no judgment here, only love, and the safety to finally let go of the mask worn in life. But once the soul has released everything it held, what comes next? Does the journey pause? Or does it go deeper? After healing, after releasing pain and regret, the soul doesn't just look back. It begins a new journey, exploring what could have been. This is the phase where many souls enter a space known as timeline travel, a journey through alternate versions of their own life, not to change the past, but to understand their choices more deeply. In the spirit world, time doesn't flow in a straight line like it does here. Past, present, and future can exist simultaneously, woven together like a great living tapestry. And within that tapestry, every choice, no matter how small, creates a new branch. Imagine this. You once stood at a major crossroads, to love this person or that one, to leave or stay, to take the risk or play it safe. During timeline travel, the soul can step into these alternate paths, not to relive them, but to feel the emotions, the outcomes, and the lessons that might have unfolded. Take the story of Sarah, whose consciousness was accessed through deep meditation. She described witnessing a version of her life where she accepted a marriage proposal at 23. In that life, she didn't become an artist. She became a rural school teacher, living simply, but learning patience, humility, and joy in small things. And through that vision, she came to understand there is no wasted path, only different lessons. Timeline travel isn't entertainment, it's soul-level education, where every what if becomes a new opportunity to grow in wisdom and self-compassion. And perhaps the most comforting truth in this phase is every choice you've ever made has meaning, because it didn't just lead you to where you are now. It expanded the library of your soul. And once the soul has seen all it has been and all it could have been, it faces perhaps its most sacred decision since leaving the body. Will it return or move forward? After healing, after letting go of the past, after exploring all the what-if versions of life, the soul now stands at its most important crossroad since leaving the body. What now? There's no booming voice from the heavens, no divine command, only a deep, sacred stillness. And within that stillness, one quiet question from the soul itself. How do I want to continue my journey? This is what many spiritual traditions call the phase of decision. In this space, many souls report being gently met by counsels of light, beings of wisdom, compassion, and pure presence. They don't judge, they simply guide. Together, they revisit the soul's soul contract, the intentions, lessons, and soul promises made before entering the most recent life. And then, The soul is offered three sacred paths. 1. Reincarnate, return to Earth in a new body, bringing with it the wisdom and healing of the past life, ready for the next chapter of growth. This is often chosen by younger souls or those who still have karmic ties to explore. 2nd, evolve to higher realms. Instead of returning to the physical world, the soul continues its journey in higher spiritual dimensions. Realms of unity, peace, and deeper understanding, far beyond duality and form. 3. Become a guide. Some souls choose not to reincarnate, but to stay as spirit guides, supporting and gently guiding other souls still navigating the physical plane. They are the whispers on your shoulder, the warmth you feel when you're afraid, the intuitive nudge that says, "You're not alone." One woman who had a near-death experience shared that in her vision, she met her mother, who had passed away when she was just a child. Her mother told her, "I've always been with you, not as a ghost, but as a light holder beside your path." And perhaps that's the most beautiful lesson of this phase. The soul's journey doesn't end with death. It expands with conscious choice. No one pushes us forward. We choose where we belong next, with freedom, love, and purpose. So, what happens once the soul makes that choice? When someone we love passes away, it can feel like the connection is completely broken. No more calls, no more hugs, no more quiet meals shared together. And sometimes, that loss runs so deep, we start to believe that they're simply gone forever. But the truth, if you listen with your heart, is something entirely different. Across countless spiritual experiences, souls have shared one consistent message: love doesn't die. Because love doesn't depend on the physical body. It's not bound by time, or space, or even presence. When you remember someone with gratitude, when you think of them with pure, honest love, they feel it. When you whisper an apology through your tears, when you dream of them hugging you, when a song comes on the radio and your eyes fill with tears for reasons you can't explain. Maybe it's not just emotion. Maybe it's a response, a soul reaching back to you, quietly, gently, completely. There's the story of Linda, a mother who lost her young son in a tragic accident. For months after, she would dream of him, always hugging her, always saying, "I'm still here, Mom. Just call me with your heart." Eventually, Linda began writing letters to him every night. It became her ritual of connection. And over time, the nightmares faded, replaced by a deep, steady peace, as if the love between them had never truly left. And that is the quiet, profound truth of this final phase. When we love someone fully, whether they are still here or have already gone, the bond doesn't break. It transcends language. It moves beyond grief. It stretches beyond death itself. And if love still exists, then life still continues, just in a deeper, more sacred way. As we close this journey, perhaps now you can begin to see death not as an ending, but as a new chapter where souls don't disappear, they simply return to us in different ways. Because the soul doesn't die, it transforms. Love doesn't vanish, it just changes form. Dear friend, you've walked with us through the soul's entire journey from the moment of physical death to healing, remembering, expanding, and finally, reconnecting with the love that never fades. Maybe along the way, you found a little peace. Maybe you felt closer to someone you thought you lost. Or maybe, just maybe, you began to see your own life and death with softer eyes. If this message touched something in you, you're not alone. This isn't the end of the conversation. It's just the beginning of a deeper understanding. So take a moment right now to breathe, to remember someone you love, and know they're still listening. Love them, talk to them, and most of all, Keep living with purpose, because the connection you have with them was never meant to end. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs comfort today. Hit that subscribe button to join our growing community of seekers, and tap the bell icon so you won't miss our next journey into the soul, the unseen, and the eternal. Until then, be kind to your soul. It's been traveling a long, beautiful road to find you.